Hey everybody, welcome to CEO Prepper on this beautiful Cyber Monday morning. I hope everybody's taking the proper precautions when doing online shopping and watching out for those scammers and phishers. Okay, we're going to talk about some current stuff today because some stuff that I saw in the news needs to be talked about. And even some stuff that you may not have heard on a nationwide feed. One really disturbing one came out of the hometown today, thanks to my friend back home who let me know about this one. Um, and something actually kind of comical elsewhere. So let's start on the serious note. A nurse at one of the local hospital groups back home in the Hoosier State um, apparently let out some racist tweets saying that, you know, white women should kill their sons because they're a detriment to the society, and that they will basically raise them to be racist, terrorists, so on and so forth. And this was disturbing, because, it's coming mainly. First off, it's coming from a nurse. Second off, it's coming from a black woman. And as a black conservative, I'll say this: I don't condone racism in any way, shape, or form. I don't care who it is. I don't care what color your skin is. If you're a racist, you're a fucking idiot. Um, do I think that we should allow just anybody into our country? Absolutely not. Do I believe that we should have open borders? Fuck no. Why? So some globalists can, achieve their dream of a one world government where they rule from the top. No, I hope some of you old bastards die. And that's not being a racist. That's just saying you bastards don't deserve to live if you're trying to take away everybody's freedoms. And unfortunately, a lot of people are, kneeling down to that. But it's up to us to, continue to educate and continue to keep people informed of what's really going on out here. So, I'm just going to say this first and foremost. Black people in the black community will call a white person a racist in a heartbeat should they do anything that somewhat offends them. I have been a victim of racism. I have been in a position where it's obvious that I have a really good job, and I'm being followed around a store. I got followed around a gas station last year, and I was working a seasonal gig with a major shipping company. I was getting paid $20-something an hour. I made 3 times more than what this cashier made. Yet this little shit decided to follow me around the store like I was going to steal something. And so, yeah, that would be considered racist. I'm walking down the street in a business suit because I'm a businessman. I'm walking down the street in a suit, a business suit at that. Not giving off any vibes that I'm intending to do anybody harm. Yet I'm looked at with scorn by a white woman who is getting her child out of her car. This woman didn't take her eyes off me, looking at me like I did something wrong. I'm like, what the fuck, really? Are we there? Are we there at this point right now? And so, I think our society needs to quit thinking that white people can only be racist. Yes, they can be racist. But guess what? So can black people, so can Mexicans, so can other Latinos, and Asians. They can be racist too. It's not just white people that can be racist. Um, so I think everybody needs to get over the idea that only whites can be racist. Everybody can be racist. Hell, I've met black people that are racist against their own people. I've met white people that are racist against white people. So, you can't change stupid. I wish you could shoot stupid, but then you'd be shooting a lot more people. And God, don't let the government figure out a way to, execute people for being stupid. Hell, they start executing everybody. Okay, so that brings me to subject number 2. And I've really got to ask my friend's aunt when I get back home how she feels about this subject. A white man in Florida, I believe, wants to change his, if I got this right, not only his identity, his racial identity, but his gender identity as well. He wants to go from a white male to a Filipino female. Now, when I swear to God, when I was in law enforcement, I thought I heard and seen everything possibly remotely stupid to ever come out, and then this comes out. Things I've seen in the last 24 months has been the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life, and it makes absolutely no bloody sense. So I'm like, somebody's got to find this one offensive. So the next time I go home, which will be for Christmas, I'm going to stop by my friend's aunt's place, and I'm going to ask her, what do you think of this? So I might actually go down there earlier and just call her and see what she thinks. So, because this is that was some of the stupidest shit I've heard all damn day. So I just want to throw that out there. Okay, now there's another subject that hasn't gotten any media attention, and it should, and so I'm pretty sure this is going to get demonetized and thrown to the bottom of the YouTube channel recommended or queue list for what I'm about to say next. When was it okay for corporations to basically trump or trample over a person's rights, constitutional rights, using the mantra of corporate policy? When was that okay? When was it okay? A few of my friends have asked me, what do you think of this? And the one thing they've asked me, and it's really going down to rideshare companies telling them they can or cannot have a weapon to defend themselves in their cars, from passengers because of a corporate policy. Now, I did a video on this a while back. Uber and Lyft have policies, and it's actually in their contracts with the drivers. Now, mind you, the drivers are independent contractors. For those that don't know what an independent contractor is, you are a self-employed person. You are not an employee of the company. So really, you shouldn't fall under their corporate policies because you are self-employed, or you have a company that you have partnered with them. So they have a company policy that says that riders and drivers cannot have weapons. We've seen how well this works. It doesn't. you basically turning about, what was that number, 600,000 people's vehicles into gun-free zones, which we all know doesn't work. Um, this reminds me of the story of the poor driver in Chicago that got hacked to death with a machete by a 16-year-old, a very disturbed girl. Uh, now, would have him having a weapon have done anything to stop her from hacking him? Probably not. But again, we don't know because he wasn't allowed to have a weapon in his car. He could have defended himself in some way if he was able to have a weapon of some kind in the car. And I'm not saying just firearms. I'm saying knives, batons, bats, tasers. It really doesn't matter. He needed something in that car other than nothing. I think this really needs to be a question that needs to be asked. When does company policies trump a person's rights? Now, as I get it, the only thing these rideshare companies own when it comes to their drivers, they're independent contractors. Mind you, not employees, independent contractors that they're trying to pass this on. The only thing that these companies own are the apps on the phones. They don't own the phone in most cases. They don't own the vehicles. The insurance is not, the primary insurance is not in those companies' names. Obviously, a lot of times the benefits are not given by these rideshare companies to their independent contractors. I understand that Uber does offer some kind of insurance, but a lot of drivers don't take it. But with all this in mind, what gives these companies the right to threaten your livelihood just simply because they own an app that you have to use as a dispatch system to get your runs? What gives them the right to tell you how to run your business and how to protect your business? They're basically pushing incredibly leftist ideas onto their drivers, who again are independent contractors, not employees. But the more they push policies like this on them, the more ammunition the employees have to say, hey, I should have the right to protect my business any way I see fit, and not the way you guys are saying how I shouldn't do this, how I shouldn't do that when I'm not an employee. If that's the case, one of two things is going to happen. Either A, you're going to start paying me a wage of $20 an hour, $24 an hour. I'm going to get, full-time benefits, health, vision, dental, life insurance. You're going to take over my car and car payments, or you're going to buy my car. And so the other thing that could happen is that they're going to push the mantle and somebody's going to say, you know what? It's time to go to court. Because you guys are starting to trample over our rights and we don't like it. So I see some really funky battles about to be waged on this one. Okay. Google, Facebook, y'all not immune to this one either, because especially Google with YouTube. When was it ever wrong to be a conservative and share your ideas? When was it wrong to be a conservative and share moral ideas? When was it ever wrong to be anti-communist? I'm trying to figure out why it's even cool in the first place, because that shit never flew. It didn't work in Russia. It ain't working anywhere else. And I don't know why the fuck you idiots have this stupid pipe dream that communism is a cool thing or that socialism is a cool thing. Obviously, you idiots never took political science. And just because you have a little money doesn't mean you have brains, folks. So I'm having a pissed off rant this morning, and so I was wanting to make this video before my flight, so everybody just do your research. Don't take anything at face value. Don't let anybody trample over your rights. And you know, because your right to self-preservation, your right to free speech, because if you, they're some of the most important ideals that we could have as Americans, and they are ideas that a lot of people in other countries wish they had. So do what you can to protect them. You know, do not let these companies trample over your rights using corporate policies. That's not why, you know, our freedoms and our Constitution not only protects us from, you know, tyrannical governments, it didn't make it okay for companies to be tyrannical to their customers or their independent contractors or their employees. You know, searching social media for stuff people say, people have the right to say whatever they want. They have the right to be assholes. But actively searching for people, now if people are saying stuff and it actually is materializing in their work, then by all means, yes, use the evidence. But don't be sitting there searching out people's social media. That's just wrong. So that's my rant for the morning. I'm gonna go ahead and catch my flight. You guys have a great one, and remember to prepare yourself. It's never a question of if, it's a question of when.